If you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud, he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's choking how? Everybody's choking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, loud. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity. Choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter, he's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stagnant, he knows when he goes back to this mobile home, that's when it's back to the lab again, yo. This old rhapsody better go back to this moment and hope it don't pass him.
Listen, we can talk about the flag, but let's talk about... Wait.
What is up, everybody? Good morning and welcome to Trending in the AM. It's Overreaction Monday right here on DSM Media. Trending in the AM, Overreaction Monday. I am your host, Bill Stifel, at Bearded Knowledge. Joined right in, he got in just in the nick of time, my man Mark with a C, Moschitelli, at Mark Moschitelli, who just hit the 500 follower mark on Twitter. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you.
500 mark, that means you're semi-famous.
I'm trying to get that blue check mark, but Twitter has not came through just yet. So we shall see in the future.
Well, everybody, welcome to the show this morning. Like I said, it's Overreaction Monday. We got lots to talk about. We're going to totally overreact to the Sixers' big win. Are you drinking a Capri Sun there or something?
I am. That's all I got to drink right now.
You totally threw me off by seeing that little pot there. I got a funny story on that. Before we talk overreaction, so last year for Thanksgiving, we went to 2 Thanksgivings ago, we went up to the Finger Lakes for Thanksgiving. My wife and I and a couple friends. And we went to a winery up there, and we were asking the owner about how he handled the pandemic and stuff like that. He's like, we had to get creative. So he bought a machine that filled Capri Sun type packages. And what he did was he would produce his wine and make Capri Sun packages of wine and then sell them by the 6-pack.
That's ingenious.
Damn incredible. That is so creative and so awesome. He's like, dude, we were making like 500 Capri Sun packs filled with wine a day, and we were selling out like every single day. I was I love that.
That would be very popular on the athletic fields of children. So those soccer moms and baseball moms and hockey moms would be breaking out Capri Suns, and nobody would ever know a difference. Absolutely. That it was loaded with wine.
I could see it. I see it really popular. Well, maybe you're drinking wine right now. I don't know.
No, this is strawberry kiwi. Not the best kind, but a little dry mouth this morning.
Oh, man. So, Mark, how was your Easter yesterday? You have a big family gathering?
Yeah, we had everybody went to my mom's house. We had the staples of we had meatballs and sausage and gavatelos, and we had some ham, potato salad, deviled eggs, all the fixings that you would expect at a nice Italian-American Easter dinner. It was a good day, and I slept in I slept in a little bit, so that's why I was a little late to the show today. Phil, how was your Easter? I heard you overcooked your filet mignon. That's a no-no, my friend.
Well, when you start drinking, you open the bottle of vodka at 12:30 in the afternoon, like you, enjoying a Sunday. My wife went out hiking with some friends, so I was in the house all by myself. I wrapped the filet up, I put it in the oven, and I checked it in an hour. I think I mistimed it because it wasn't done. It wasn't even close to done yet, so I put it back in. Kind of forgot that I put it back in the oven, and then I went and opened it up. I'm like, shit. It was like medium well. It's a little damn tasty. It was just a little medium well. It's all good. But like you, I'm struggling this morning because when you start at 12:30 and you don't stop till about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, it makes it a little rough. I got a 12-hour day ahead of me here after this show, so it's going to be a long one.
Well, good luck, my friend.
The statement is I'm going to heavily struggle to make it to 9 o'clock tonight.
Yeah,
heavily struggle. I don't even think that's an overreaction. But anyway, let's get into the actual overreacting. Let's get over into the Sixers here. Sixers dominated the Raptors on Saturday night. That's not even an overreaction statement there. They just flat out manhandled the Toronto Raptors, winning that game 131-111. Obviously, we always joke Sixers in 5. We kind of changed it for the playoffs. We tried to be more realistic, Sixers in 6 or 7. The Raptors are a really good team. But did we overreact to how good the Raptors were? Because if you watch that game, Joel Embiid didn't have his best game. James Harden had an okay game. It was the secondary and third pieces, the Tyrese Maxeys, the Tobias Harrises, that carried the Sixers. So even if Nick Nurse, this great head coach, makes an adjustment to shut down Tyrese Maxey, say, then that just means Joel Embiid and James Harden can do what they do. So I almost think that maybe we overreacted to how good the Raptors really are. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
No, I don't think we overreacted, but I think the Sixers came in with a plan and stuck to the plan, and it worked. I was very, very impressed on what happened because, like you said, Embiid didn't put up 30 and 15, and Harden still had some trouble shooting, and they wiped the floor with the Raptors. Our guy Tyrese Maxey was just unstoppable. They had no answer for him. Nobody could guard him. The one guy that could guard him fouled out, and he wasn't doing a damn good job guarding him all night. And Maxey hit every shot he took. It was just amazing. And credit to you, Phil, with your little parlay, even though you didn't hit it, for Tobias Harris having a big game. He was really good. And like you said, we that's my dad, yeah. Well, I had the rest. He had a great game, and listen, Doc is smart here, but like they're going to try to lock down Harden and Embiid because those are the guys that are going to make the team run. But if you have your second tier guys playing it the way they are for the rest of the series, yeah, this will be a 4-game series, and they get to walk away and have a little bit of rest before they meet their next opponent. I was very, very impressed. I wasn't expecting that outcome like that. I expected a win, but I thought it was going to be ugly. That was a nice little Easter Saturday present for the 76ers fans of Philadelphia.
Yeah, but let's stick on Maxey for a second here before we get to who I called out, Tobias Harris. The great thing about Maxey was like Embiid only took 15 shots. I know he struggled, 5 of 15 shooting. He didn't have his best offensive game, but he saw that Tyrese Maxey was on fire. James Harden everybody saw what was going on with Tyrese Maxey. So they deferred to him. They let him, be the man. Sometimes you have stars that they don't care who's the hot guy. They want theirs. They want their shots. They want their points. They want their stats. Joel Embiid, he made sure to get the ball. I mean, Joel Embiid's passing out of those double and triple teams because no matter how hot Tyrese Maxey was, Nick Nurse kept sending 2-3 guys over to Joel Embiid every single time. And he was able to get it out, move it to Maxey, move it to other guys that were cut into the basket.
Who was that laser pass that he threw to? Yeah, that was fantastic.
A laser pass. Jake Milton almost didn't catch it. You see it. He bobbled catching that pass.
He's a center, not a guard. I mean, that those skills are just, hey, I'm not going to score. Great. Let me dish it off. And usually if he does that, he's double teamed. So somebody's free somewhere. In that case, Milton was breaking to the basket, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful play.
But I just love seeing him defer. Not because he was 5 of 15. I guess if he would have taken 5 or 10 more shots, maybe he would have gotten going offensively, whatever. But why try to force more shots when you've got a guy that's pretty much not missing? I mean, what was Maxey? Like 14 of 21 shooting, 5 of 8 from deep. I mean, just keep feeding him the rock. And, we talk about Nick Nurse and how great of an X's and O's and a game planner of a coach he is. And if there's no way that he can game plan to stop Maxey because you still have Joel Embiid and James Harden. So what do you do as a coach when you're going up against a team, in a playoff series like this, when you got a team where you've got 4 guys that can put up 20 to 30 points on a given night? You can't just always triple team Joel Embiid.
You gotta pick your poison. If that's what Nurse thinks is going to happen, you got 4 guys who are going to put up 25 or more. You got to figure out who are you going to stop and where it's beneficial for you to stop that certain player to get the points to keep it close. I don't think he was anticipating Maxey to go off the way he did.
I don't know if anybody was expecting that.
No. And game 2, I think you're going to see a different Tyrese Maxey because I think the Raptors are going to try to put a lockdown on him. And then it's up to the Sixers for the next guy up. Like if you're going to double team Maxey, then maybe, I don't know, maybe Harden goes off and puts up 35, 15, and 10, you know? I knew the game was going to go a certain way, Phil, the minute that Fred VanVleet had 2 fouls in 58 seconds, the first 58 seconds of the game. And I'm like, oh, boy, something shaking here. Yeah. And, like I said, they didn't have an answer for Maxey that whole game. And now going into game 2, I think they have 3 players that are going to be out now. Thad Young, who I didn't even realize was still in the league.
Thad Young, man, I love seeing Thad Young. That man is a trooper. He's been playing for the last couple of years for the Bulls. Dude, Thad Young is a baller still. I don't know how old he is now, but he's a baller.
He wasn't bad when he was at Sixers, but the Sixers themselves were not in, it was more like post Iverson, pre Embiid. So he's kind of there, but I liked him. I just didn't realize he was still in the league. So he's going to be out. Barnes obviously is not going to play. He with that foot injury, and somebody else is not going to play. I forget what it was.
I had it up. It's Barnes. It's Thad Young, and hang on a second. I'll get you the other name here in a second. And Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah, Gary Trent.
They're all listed as day to day, but Nick Nurse did say yesterday after their team shoot around that it was very doubtful any of the 3 would play.
Listen. You're in playoff basketball now, and you got 3 guys out. That's a lot of guys in a short series.
2 of them are starters.
Yeah, and, should we walk all over the Sixers? Walk all over the Raptors again? God, I hope so. But the way this team sometimes plays, I could see them not winning this game or having it really, really close. So we will see tonight if you could stay up, Phil.
Yeah, so, and then to the next guy, Tobias Harris, obviously had a really good shooting night, confident. He did pretty much everything you need from, dare I say, your 4th star on the team. And, it helps. But I also want to touch on some of the other things from the game. Danny Green, I know his box score looked awful. But the guy was active on defense. He was active on the court at all times. It's like because he rested so much because he played a bench role all year long. Now he's got, because of the Matisse situation, he's thrust into the starting lineup. I want to harken back. We didn't know each other last year, Mark. I said it as soon as he went down in the playoffs last year. I said we were going to lose. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, no. And then everybody blamed Ben Simmons. And Ben Simmons was a big part of why we lost that Hawks series, obviously. But I said it then, and I'll say it again. Scotty will vouch, because I was on one of Scotty's shows last year before we were working together, and I said, Danny Green, that's what cost us the series. Danny Green is a very, very – it doesn't matter if he shoots 0 for 5 or 3 for 5 from 3. It's what he does, that veteran presence, that veteran defensive presence. It's something that Matisse is not – Matisse is great. Matisse is a great defensive player. We know that. But he's still young and still learning how to handle certain situations. Danny Green has won 3 titles with 3 different teams. He's been in 5 or 6 finals, okay? The guy is a very, very important person on this floor. He played 22 minutes. The game's in Toronto when Matisse isn't around. He'll play more than that. But you got to look beyond the box score. Danny Green had a very important role in that game on Saturday night.
I agree 100%. You can't take away experience, and he's the only player that has real, championship experience. Like you said, he's got 3 rings, 3 different teams. The guy
never played for a title.
Yeah, he's a guy that knows what it takes to win a championship. and they should probably be listening to him in the locker room and on the floor. And I agree with you. Last year, like what did he hurt his finger or something like that last year or something? Yeah. That was a big blow to them last year. I'm glad that he is here. And as for Matisse, I gotta be honest with you, I don't recall seeing him much on the floor last night.
He played 19 minutes, which I'm surprised. I mean, now, so all the bench guys, I wanted to talk about, Doc and how he used the bench and stuff like that. The bench numbers are slightly skewed a little bit because they did empty the bench. You know what I mean? They did pull everybody off the floor with about 2.5 minutes left. So when I go over these bench minutes, so Matisse had 19 minutes, but he really only had about 16 and a half minutes. And then he was put back in at the end of the game, when the whole bench was out there. But yeah, Matisse, I mean, Matisse gets a lot of ticky-tack fouls called on him, and he always has. And it's like Danny Green's playing all this great, aggressive, moving around defense. Matisse comes in to sub him in, and then all of a sudden, Matisse gets called for a foul right away. It's like, at this point, because of what's going on, Danny Green just needs to be out there for a little bit more and a little bit less Matisse, because let's be honest, in game 3-4, we're not going to see him. So there's no need to have him out there right now. But overall, so George Niang played 16 minutes. It was probably about 15 really. Shake Milton had 14 minutes. It was probably about 11 from Shake. Paul Reed at 11. It was probably about 9 from him.
B-ball Paul. He played good. He played good. I mean, he is what he is. The Raptors are a really small team. So you don't even. I mean, Joel Embiid even it's a problem for Joel Embiid because there is no center for him to guard really. So you see him stretching out, on defense a lot. Doc Rivers, for the first time that I can remember, since he's been here, he trimmed his rotation down. Last year, even in the playoffs, he was still running a 10-man rotation. If you go back to box scores, it was an 8-man rotation, really. And honestly, it wasn't even that because, you look at it, Shake Milton really only played 10 minutes. B-ball Paul only played really 8 minutes. If the game's not a blowout, four of your 5 starters all go over 40 minutes if it's not a blowout. And I love to see that adjustment from Doc Rivers. Yeah, if those guys are playing extended minutes, it's a blowout either way. Joe brought up a good point. I think they have kind of phased him out. I think you're going to see him phased out anyway, whether the vaccination issue was out there or not, because honestly, they need people to score points. And as much as I love him, he doesn't score. He's not going to give you 10, 12 points. They need people to score points. So that Doc's got to work a rotation that Matisse is in there to lock guys down, but Green is in there to get those points off the bench. And, again, if they're going 10 deep, then they're either going to win the game big or lose the game big. They got to keep that bench short.
Last year, you were seeing Furkan get minutes in the playoffs no matter what the score was. You were seeing the bottom half of that bench getting minutes no matter what. And there was no need for it last year. There's definitely no need for it this year. The 5 starters, I'm going to keep Danny Green as part of the equation. There was only 2 or 3 short moments in that game before they emptied the bench, obviously, that Doc didn't have 3 of 5 starters on the court at all times. They pull out Danny Green, put in Matisse, pull out Tobias, put in George Niang. And then that's it. You saw instead of 2 of the big 3 out there, you saw 3 of the big 4 out there at all times in that game. And it was I don't want to give Doc Rivers compliments because, we know we've been bashing Doc Rivers on this program for a while now, but it was nice to see Doc Rivers make that kind of adjustment.
And we've been clamoring for that. Like, if you're going to go with these rotations, make sure that you at least got Embiid or Harding on the floor with one other of the big 4. I'm glad to see that happen. Now, Doc, I think, is the kind of coach or kind of person that if somebody brought it up to him in the news conference post game, and I didn't see it, but if they said, "Hey, I noticed that you did that," he would spite people and go, "You know what? I'm going to leave Embiid out there, but we're going to put him 4 subs." He's that kind of guy. So hopefully he ate some humble pie and he'll do it again tonight. And like I said, we'll see. I think they win tonight, but not nearly as big as they did on Saturday night.
I'm a man off the clock saying, 6-5. Maybe they squeak one out in Toronto. I was originally, like I said, I predicted 6-7 because I just thought whatever. But with the injuries now, I don't know if we squeak one out tonight. Maybe we just come out. Gary Trent Jr. is a very important part of their team. Scotty Barnes, very, very important part for a rookie, very important part of their team. Thad Young, whatever, you lose your eighth guy off in your rotation. That's one thing. But with those other two starters out, I don't know. I know Nick Nurse is a great coach. He's going to have them ready to go. He's going to make adjustments. But I don't know. I might be ready to go back to 6-5. I really might, because the Sixers showed me it's overreaction Monday. It's time to overreact. I'm not ready to say 6-4, but I might be because of those injuries. If Barnes is out for that injury, that ankle roll looked pretty severe. I could see him missing the entire series now, or at least games 2, 3, and 4. I don't know. I don't know if the Raptors stand much of a chance now. If the Sixers team is this confident, I don't know if they stand a chance.
Yeah, and like I said, like the Raptors seemed frustrated all game. Like they were all over the place. They didn't have answers for our big players, and the Sixers ran roughshod all over them. And they did what I've been asking them to do, really all season, is once they get a big lead, don't take your foot off the pedal and let the team get back in the game, or even like overcome a 10-point deficit that we put up. They did exactly what needed to be done, and the Raptors, they're in the hole right now. Now, if they're in the hole or they're cornered, do they come out scratching and clawing and keeping that game close? I like I said, I don't think the Sixers win by 20 tonight. They win, but maybe like by 5.
We were 4.5-point favorites in the last game, and we won by 20. We are 7.5-point favorites. He thinks that feels like a lot. Yeah, I mean,
I kind of agree with Armchair over there. I think that's a little too much right now.
It's too much on a bet. I could see them winning by 10 or 15, but because of Nick Nurse and everything, I can also see them, keeping it close. I don't know. I would stay away from the line itself. If you're going to lay a same game parlay down or something, stick to points or assists and rebounds. I don't know. I mean, if I had to make a bet, I would take the points. I mean,
yeah, I would lay Raptors plus 7.5.
If I had to, I would lay the points and be minus 7.5 with 6. But I mean, it's not going to be a 20-point blowout again. It's just law averages. A really good team like the Raptors aren't going to get, bombed every. The thing that I just don't know. It's like, scared money don't make money, baby. That's right.
That's the truth there.
That's why my bank account's always empty, because I'm not scared, dude. I took a hose this weekend at the RBC Heritage. Armchair. I do a lot of golf betting, and I do a golf betting show, man. Shane Lowry on the 12th or 14th hole, double bogeyed a hole, and I went from 5.5 time return on my money to breaking even in the snap of a finger, and I was really pissed off. Shane Lowry is now dead to me. We're gonna touch on the Nets for 1 second, Philly. Don't you worry. Once we're done, we're gonna talk on that Celtics Nets game for like 2 seconds. But tonight, so predictions, Mark. How do you see it? What's your final thoughts on tonight's game and how it's gonna roll out?
I think Maxey comes down to earth a little. He doesn't score 39. He'll probably put up like 20. I think Embiid will probably go off tonight. And I think you're going to probably see a different superstar have huge games in the 4 wins that they have. I think tonight will be Embiid's night tonight. I think they'll probably win by 6, having a big lead, and just towards the end, the Raptors will claw back to get it close. But the Sixers are going to win this one, and they'll go up 2-0 going into Canada to face the Raptors. So that's my thoughts. I think that's what's going to happen.
We didn't even talk about James Harden. You say Joel Embiid's going to have a big game tonight. I agree with you. I think Joel Embiid will come out tonight and dominate, because there's going to be somebody different, like you said, that's going to be that monster game the whole playoff run combined. You just never know where it's going to come from. Joel Embiid has a different look in his eyes. I don't know if you saw, when he came out, even during introductions, it wasn't the same looking jovial Joel Embiid that we're used to seeing. He had this look of determination and focus and almost calmness to him. And Joel Embiid's going to want to dominate. He is what he is. But we didn't even talk about, I mean, James Harden, he didn't have a great night, but the one key thing that he did, he knocked down a couple of his three-point shots. It's something he's been struggling with. You know, we all know, I don't know what it exactly is, but you know, he's shooting like 28, 30% from three since he became a Sixer. He knocked down 4 or 7. So that's a small little taste of what could come. And I don't know if it's tonight or game 3 or game 4, but we're going to see, based off of what I saw on Saturday night, we're going to see one of those old school James Harden 35, 40-point games in this series where people are forgetting how good James Harden really is. Yeah, he's a little older. People are, you know, editing his, photoshopping him to have the gray in his beard and stuff like that. He's going to roll it old school and just put up 40 with no hesitation in one of these games. Whether it's tonight, game 3, game 4, I don't know. But we saw a little bit of life from James Harden on Saturday night. And maybe, just maybe, he was holding back some, like we talked about last week, you know, to close out the season. I don't know. I'm hoping that. I think that. But we'll see which game it is where he breaks out some old school James Harden.
I read a quote where he said he has nothing to prove or anything like that. But I think secretly down deep, he wants to light it up to show him who's the guy. I really do. And I agree with you, Phil. There's going to be a game where he just goes off and people are going crazy. People are going to go crazy. And hopefully it's a home game that he does that. But
I mean, I disagree that he doesn't have anything to prove. I mean, I said it before. I think he's got more pressure on him than anybody right now on the Sixers. You know, more than Doc Rivers, more than Joel Embiid. Because, I mean, this is his 3rd team in less than 2 years. The guy's never made it to a finals. He's getting a little longer in the tooth. He doesn't have many more opportunities to have a team like this to make a run at a finals. So there's a lot of pressure on James Harden right now.
I think his hammy is still tight. I don't. I said this in a previous show. It doesn't just go away, and it's probably lingered all season. And he's doing his best to kind of fight through it. But yeah, he's got to knock down his shots a little bit more, get a higher percentage. At 4 through 7 from the 3 is impressive, and he needs to keep doing that. And listen, do what he does best: drive to the net, get the foul, and take 2 shots. I'm okay with that. Whatever's going to get him 25 points, and as long as he's dishing out 10, 12 assists, I mean, he's doing the job that we need him to do. I mean, would you disagree?
No, I think he's doing exactly what we need to do. I just still see. I think if he does what he did on Saturday night every game, and that's just his average and his ceiling, that's more than good enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I still want to see. I still feel like we're going to see one of those old school. I think we'll see a couple throughout the playoff run of those old school James Harden games. Let's be honest. On top of everything we just said, he's looking for a max deal too. You know, he's looking for a big $200 million contract in this offseason, whether it's the Sixers or somebody else. So, you know, he's going to have to show that he can still put up 40 and 15 in a game, or a 40-point triple-double or something like that. So he's going to ball out one of these games. So
what was the stat I saw? I don't know if it was a Harden stat or a team stat that the team is shooting 82% after a pass, which is, I mean, really good. And it tells you, like, you know, guys are open and guys are taking shots and the shots are dropping. So if they can keep moving that ball and like you said, Harden puts up 10, 12, 15 assists a game, I think they'll win the game going away. But if they put a lockdown on Harden and he can't dish that ball out, there's going to be a problem.
My man Armchair checking in saying he's taking over 3.5 threes for Freddie Van Fleet. He needs to have his game. Yeah, I mean, we know Fred Van Fleet. I mean, he's a Sixer killer. I mean, he always has good games against the Sixers. You know, the 2 fouls in the first like 0.001 seconds of the game probably took away a little of his aggressiveness in the first half of the game. It kind of forced him to, you know, be a little less aggressive, maybe. You know, I don't know. Armchair, if you're a Raptors guy, hit me up on Twitter after the show. I'll bring you on later this week if you're a Raptors fan, and we'll get the Raptors perspective for sure from you.
Well,
he's asking, do we think the Harden having a good game takes away Embiid's scoring? No, I don't think so. I think the Tyrese Maxey big game took away from Embiid scoring, but Harden and Embiid, I don't think. I think they work 1-1 together there. Sorry, what were you going to say, Mark?
Just you were talking about Fred VanVleet's fouls, and then there was some noise again about why aren't they calling fouls on Embiid. It's plain and simple. He's the best player in the game. He's going to get calls. He's going to get the benefit of the doubt. That's just how basketball has been played, going all the way back to, Jordan. Even before Jordan. Those star players typically get the calls. And listen, stop them. And nobody has been able to really stop Embiid. And don't rely on the refs that are going to make calls in your favor just because Embiid is so good. That's just not going to happen, especially not at home. I'm kind of tired of hearing about they're not calling fouls on Embiid. Sorry, he's the best. He's the best center in the game and probably one of the top 3 players in the league right now, if not the top.
All right, so I got Sixers winning tonight. I'm going to say it's going to be a 10-point win tonight. I'm going to say something like 120, 110, somewhere in that range. But I think it'll be closer for most of the games. But then we kind of pull away at the end. You think it's going to be a little bigger and then comes close towards the end.
I'm going to go 194 Sixers.
Okay. Embiid to 0 before. I don't remember them holding him to 0 before, but Embiid is a beast. Yes. Okay. So we got that there. So real quick, I want to jump up here. My man, Philly saying, haven't talked the Nets and Joe jumping in. Did you see Ben dunked in practice? I know we all saw those tweets and everything. Dude, I don't know if you caught any of that that Celtics Nets game yesterday. I didn't really watch much of it, but I do know that it was a really close 115-114 Celtics win over Brooklyn. I want to more talk about the fact that the Nets now are in a hole. They're down 1-0, but will the NBA suspend Kyrie Irving after last night?
They better do something.
He was multiple times. He ran down the court and did it. Then he did it. You saw him sitting on the bench and doing it behind his head.
Yeah, and in the tunnel ways, either going out for the game or the second half, he told somebody who was yelling at him to suck his D. I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
man. The Boston Celtics fans are definitely in his head, and I've seen a lot of this in the NBA. Maybe it's because those courtside seats are so damn close, but there's a lot of distractions to those players. I was always taught that if you're an athlete, you're a professional, and you block all that shit out. And players are not doing that. Durant had a little bit of an issue earlier in the season with that. Kyrie Irving obviously is not welcome in Boston. But for him to do those things, I doubt they'll suspend him. They'll probably fine him up the ass.
If it was a regular season, they would have definitely suspended him. But they're going to double standard it, and they're not going to suspend him.
Yeah, they can't afford to have him out and Ben Simmons.
That'll be Ben Simmons' opportunity to come off the bench,
right?
And playing again because he did. Oh, did you see it? He said he looked over the report and said, "You better catch this on camera." And he just went up and just minor dunked the basketball. What the hell is wrong with that guy?
Ben is living in a fantasy world. I think he's just
we all thought Kyrie Irving was the crazy one in the fantasy world.
That whole team is nuts. But I think
they are super talented.
They are, but they're eccentric. But I was reading a couple articles and I couldn't get the vibe, but it seems like the Nets teammates are getting frustrated with Ben Simmons not playing. Just kind of whispers on it. I think the reporter wanted to say it, but didn't really want to say it when he wrote the story, and I forget who wrote it. But that team could easily be in turmoil and go out in 4 games against the Celtics. But we'll see. That was a great win by the Celtics. That was a great pass and a drive to the basket. Was it Tatum made the shot?
It was. You're talking to Marcus Smart pump fake drive.
Yeah. And right at the buzzer, it was awesome. I don't like either team. Yeah. I wish they both would lose, but I'm glad the Nets are going to go down and have Ben Simmons go 2 seasons in his professional career not playing basketball. Which is, he had a wasted season this year. he better come back because I think the Celtics are going to probably win that series at the rate it's going right now.
Celtics are built for the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, the Celtics are. I mean, we talked about. Jason said it on the show a bunch of times. Maybe they peaked too soon. Watching that game last night, I don't know. The Celtics are. They might be better than the Heat, who are the number 1 seed. I don't think the Heat are built for a long playoff run. I don't think they're good enough. Celtics might be right there with the Sixers as the team to beat in the East. I don't know. Bucks, Celtics, Sixers. One of those teams comes out of the East, in my opinion. Not the Nets, not the Heat. You know, I don't know. It's tough. Tough call there.
Should be a fun playoff.
It's going to be a blast this playoff. We're going to pause in the action for a quick 50 seconds here, pay a quick bill, then we'll be right back with the second half of the show. Stay tuned. Don't leave. Hang in there. We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Phil Stifle here. Trending in the AM. Look at this site right here, 99jersey.com. Proud supporter of all Trending in the AM shows. Make sure you check them out. Like I said, 99jersey.com. They have the best jerseys of all your favorite athletes from high school, college, movies, TV shows. You got the Kobe Bryant, Lower Merion, the Charlie Conway, Mighty Ducks. Everybody always asks where I got my Sugar Shane Falco jersey back there from the Replacements movie. 99jersey.com. I mean, Magic Johnson, Michigan State, Lonzo Ball, Jalen Rose, you name it, Russell Westbrook, you name it, they've got it on this site. Make sure you check them out, 99jersey.com. Use promo code TRENDING at checkout. It gets you 15% off right away. 99jersey.com, promo code TRENDING. Yo, support the podcast that brings you the heat every single morning. And we are back. Phil Stifle here with Mark Moscatelli on Overreaction Monday here, Trending in the AM. Mark, we talked Sixers. We overreacted how great they look. But now it's time to overreact to how bad the Phillies have looked now. And it's an overreaction. It might be too soon to say this, but it might be time to already say bye-bye to Sleepy Joe Girardi. I don't know. Is it an overreaction to say that something needs to be done because this team has so much talent on it, the Phillies, yet they're falling behind really, really fast?
Yeah, the drum is getting louder. They're banging that drum louder for Joe. My dad's right. These Mets and Marlins games are going to come back to haunt them, especially if they're in the hunt for a divisional crown. That's going to be a big problem. Listen, he's got a stacked team. Let's be honest. I mean, he's got some players on this team. Our starting pitching has not come through.
Say something about starting pitching all off season. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe someone on the show talked about that a lot.
Yeah, and honestly, I was surprised. I thought their starters would be a lot better and their bullpen still be suspect, but that's really not the case. I mean, the lineup isn't hitting the way it should, and he's been tinkering. He's been all over setting up the lineup. Their hottest hitter, he keeps putting on the bench. Yeah. And keep saying, well, I got a plan for him to play third base on Monday or something like that. Dude, just play the kid, man. Just play. Listen, is Johan, what's his Carmago? Is he the future? Yeah, did I pronounce her? I butcher every name on the show.
You might be saying it might be. I have no clue who's saying it right, honestly.
Listen, he's not the future of the team. No. Put Bohm on third base. Put him on third base. Didi is not the future of the team. Put Stott at shortstop. Especially if you're going to start losing like this, like you're going to have to do something to shake things up. Does it mean firing the manager like 10 or 11 games in the season? I think that's a little too early, but
I mean, it's overreaction Monday, so maybe we're overreacting to firing him. But can we say that he might be costing this team a little bit? I mean.
Yes, because of his.
If they're not going to play Alec Boehm every single day, I know his glove is suspect. But that 3-hour game kind of magnifies his problems. I mean, he had issues last year at third base too, but sure. He's not going to commit 3 errors every single game.
He's going to be a below par third baseman.
If he's going to be out there every single day or not be out there every single day, send him to AAA because the kid needs to be hitting every single day, not to lose that momentum. Camargo, Joe Girardi's affinity to play the veterans, Camargo and Didi over Stott, Do you realize that Stott has played more second base than he has shortstop? More second base. He only played one game in spring training at second base. He played a lot of third base and short in spring training, and he's still playing second base more than anything else. And he's not out there every day. Joe Girardi's so stubborn. He has to play the veterans, the guys that he knows, the guys that he loves. And that's hurting the team right now. It really is.
If you fire Girardi, who on that staff is going to step up and be manager?
I don't know.
Dusty Watson?
Yeah, is he still around?
He is. I think he's the third base coach still.
I mean, he should have gotten the job before Kapler even. You know, he was the final running there. So, I mean, you probably promote him. He's got a reputation with the players. The players love him. But I talk about it with Doc Rivers, and I talked about it, on Friday when I was running solo also. You take on the personality of your coach or manager or whatever, and the team offensively that is struggling, that's supposed to be this offensive juggernaut, kind of has taken on. I started calling him Sleepy Joe, and it's because that's what he looks like out there. And the offense is taking on his personality, this lifeless personality. And Harper's going to start to hit. He's starting to hit now.
He did. He had a decent
making some contact now. Schwarber got a couple hits now yesterday. They're going to start to hit, but the team is still taking on his personality. We got a Belichick in to take over. I love Jim Leland.
Who posted that? Did you? Joe? But somebody tweeted it out too. Joe, did you tweet that out too? Like Jim Leland? I think he's like 106 though.
This is a great comment from Armchair. You can't win the division in April, but you could definitely lose it. It's 110% accurate. 110% accurate right there. Jack Fritz, he says, tweeted that out.
Oh yes, Fritz did. Yes, he did. I know I saw it somewhere.
Look, Jim Leland was in the running, was one of the final two coaching candidates for when Charlie Manuel was hired. It was down to Charlie Manuel and Jimmy Leland. Jimmy Leland was down in when Jim Fergosi got hired. It was between Jim Leland and it's like Jim Leland has almost been the Phillies head coach or manager like a few times now. I mean, Leland's got to be like 85 years old by this point.
He's not young, but let's talk about a connection. Was Leland at the Tigers when Dombrowski was there?
Probably.
Or was I don't remember if Dombrowski was in Florida. I mean, there as crazy as it sounds, like there might be a connection there, but I just Vince McMahon to go, that would work too, man. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I think if they keep losing games that they should be winning and not producing at the plate, Joe might not make it to the summer. And I think their backup plan, as weird as it sounds, my dad said Boa, but they would never put Boa in that position. But I could see them begging Charlie Manuel to come back and
I mean, they already come back. Was it last year or 2 years ago? They brought him back as
a hitting coach
for like the last month or two of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I could see that. The question is, and we are in agreement 100% that Bohm and Stott should be out there third and shortstop every single day. That's fine. We agree on that. What I don't think we can agree on, we can agree on the theory, but not who. They don't have a leadoff hitter, and he's trying different people. Schwarber, he gave him a day off, then yesterday bounced him to the lower part of the lineup. I'm okay with that. I mean, Schwarber isn't a leadoff hitter, but he has had success. I don't know. But JT Realmuto is not a leadoff hitter. Bryce Harper in the 2-hole, he's trying so hard to move things around that he's making – you don't put Bryce Harper in the 2-hole. You just don't. And what to do at the top, 2, 3 in that lineup even is a question mark right now.
Somebody has to lead off. I mean, could Segura's led off before. I mean, you could put him there. We got somebody saying Utley, bring him in. I don't know if Utley has any intentions. Jimmy Rollins might be a guy from that team that might want to coach. I don't know. I mean, he hangs around the team a lot. He does commentary, some Sundays. So maybe Jimmy Rollins. I don't know. Jimmy just got hired as like a special assistant to whoever. So I think they have some plans for Jimmy Rollins. And I hate to say this for Philly fans, you guys brought up Utley. He's entrenched in that Dodgers organization now. I don't think you're going to see him in Phillies pinstripes anymore.
No, you won't. No. I mean, he'll come back occasionally for ceremonies and stuff like that, but he's an LA guy. He's back home in LA. I don't know if Joe Bucci's saying put Bohm in the leadoff spot or not, but I mean, the guy makes contact. He gets a lot of hits.
What's he batting? 700? Yeah, put him there.
A lot. You know, he got out yesterday. He was 0 for 1 yesterday, so he's down to 636. So his on-base percentage is almost 600. So, yeah, you got to mix it up. But JT, Bryce, 1-2, that is not what you do.
No.
JT maybe in the 2-hole. JT's probably a 5-6 hole hitter. Bryce has got to be 3-4 in your lineup. You can't do it. I mean, I'd rather have Kyle Schwarber hitting 190 in the leadoff spot than JT in the leadoff spot because it's just not smart.
They probably should have thought of this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about Harper in the leadoff spot either. Bryce Harper's got to be in that 3-hole on a regular basis.
When they were like constructing this team, they probably should have thought about, hey, who's going to lead off on this team? Hey, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out when we get to the season. Well, guess what? They haven't really. They didn't
construct a team with a leadoff hitter, and they didn't construct a team with anything. But they have like 9 guys that should be playing DH. Schwarber should be playing DH. Bohm should be DH, and Hoskins should be DH. And Hoskins actually, he's not a really good first baseman, but compared to the rest of the defense being played, it kind of almost feels like he's playing good defense because everybody else is so bad.
Yeah.
You know, they've hamstrung themselves with a lot of duplicate people and positions.
You know, I'm wondering with Moniak breaking his wrist going down that eventually they were going to try him on the leadoff spot. I mean, because he was hitting the ball off the cover. He's pretty fast. He could steal bases. You know, maybe he was the guy. And once he got hurt, they just didn't.
You actually have a leadoff hitter about to come back in the next 5 or 6 days.
Odubel Herrera.
Maybe you don't want to hear it, but because of how bad Matt Vierling's playing in center field, Odubel's going to be back in that lineup. And Odubel has batted leadoff before, and he's got the speed. I mean, he's a boneheaded, you know,
terrible base runner.
We're not even talking about his off the field issues. Just on the field, he's a bonehead.
He's a dumb baseball player. He's a dumb baseball player.
He's had success, and we know what Joe Girardi loves to do. Joe Girardi loves his veterans, his guys that have been around. Joe Girardi, and you know what, Matt Vierling, I told everybody to pump the brakes on him, you know, whatever. But Matt Vierling will get sent down, you know, when Moniak and Odubel are around. But the problem is he's going to play Odubel just as much, if not more, than Moniak. And you're going to see Odubel Herrera in that leadoff spot at some point. It's pathetic. It's sad. But if the track keeps going, Odubel was in Double-A or Single-A getting, you know, rehab bats this weekend. I forget where he was playing. But you're going to see Odubel in that leadoff spot.
Now, do you get spiteful and say, I don't care, I don't want to see him on the team? Or do you kind of swallow your pride and say, all right, let him lead off until, you know, Moniak comes back and maybe they figure something out for leadoff that isn't Odubel.
Are you saying should the
with
Phillies?
With the Phillies.
The Phillies are going to play
him.
The Phillies are going to play him. There's no doubt in my mind. They don't care about the PR nightmare that it is.
Oh, apparently, because they signed him.
Exactly. Not only did they sign him, they paid his They bought his contract.
Bought him out, and then they brought him back.
And then paid him. So he got paid money to go away, and then he got paid more money to come back. That is beyond. That proves that they don't care about the off the field stuff with him one bit. But again, I know it's like I talk about, you know, Aaron Nola's last good year was, you know, 2018. Yeah, it's been probably that long since Odubel's been good too. You know, when did he make an all-star team? 17
years ago, yeah.
It was quite a while. But Joe Girardi, you know, when was the last time Didi Gregorius was good? He had 200 last year, and he's still getting trotted out there every single game.
When was the last time Joe Girardi was good?
Was he ever good as a coach?
Oh, in 09 he was. He beat the Phillies.
09. I think you could have put me or you in that dugout with the Yankees, and we would have won the World Series with that Yankees team.
He had a nice little run with Florida, and then he got plucked up by the Yankees, and the Yankees were just like a super team. And you're right, anybody could have won with that game.
Yeah,
Mugiati.
Odubel will be back by the end of this week, and Odubel will be taking one of their spots. I don't know which one.
I'm going to say it's Veerling. I agree with you, Phil. He's done next to nothing, but I think they still have high hopes for him. So they would send him down to the minors, like you said, to get those at-bats and play.
That's what any young kid should get. If you're not getting at-bats regularly, if you're young, Bowman Stott, you just never know when they're going to be in the lineup because he puts Camargo and Didi out there every single day. You got to get these guys some at-bats. So you got to send somebody back down to the minors at some point. So I don't know. And then you got at the end of the month, the rosters are going to shrink. So they're going to probably cut some of their pitchers, but they're going to probably cut somebody on their bench too. So, is Girardi? Yeah, you must have missed my episode on Friday, Joe, because I spent a lot of time talking about that they are one in the same. Absolutely.
Girardi's a little more likable than Doc Rivers, but both are stubborn in their way.
Girardi is likable. He's just boring.
I mean, like,
he's not unlikable, but he's not likable. Doc Rivers you hate because he's an a-hole. Joe Girardi's just like, whatever. I'm there.
I don't know. Bill Belichick is a pretty boring guy. I mean, he's really good.
At the same time, absolutely. We haven't even talked the NFL draft. At some point later this week and next week, we're going to really have to do some NFL talk because we are this close to the NFL draft. So close.
What weekend is it? Is it this weekend or next weekend?
Next Thursday. Next Thursday.
Next Thursday?
Next Thursday.
That's right. Yeah. They do it in prime time. I keep forgetting.
Yeah. Thursday night prime time. We'll be live on the air for the entire first round of the draft. Guarantee it. The entire team.
Send me an invite for that. That should be fun.
We're all going to be. There's going to be like 8 or 9 of us live on the air for the draft there. That'll be like a big DSM party. All right, so we're headed out to Colorado now. Colorado, was supposed to be a bad team, but so far early in the season, they're pretty decent. You got Nola tonight going up against Chad Cole. Somehow the Phillies are favored tonight. I don't know how, but they are. I just don't know. The books keep putting the Phillies as favorites every single day. I'm not sure how long it'll take. Maybe going on the road for the first time, for a long, they got a, little road trip here out to Colorado. Maybe that helps build the team camaraderie a little bit. Maybe it helps, get them off this funk here. I don't know. But did you see anything this weekend that makes you think that they're going to come out of this funk anytime soon?
No.
All right. You know what? Thanks for tuning in right there.
Yesterday, I mean, they scored some runs late. Maybe that'll spark them to go into Colorado and start bashing the ball. The air's thinner out there. It's a hitter's ballpark, and this series could be something that could jumpstart the offense, provided that Joe Girardi puts up a consistent lineup for the next few games in Colorado. I think, would we play 10, 11 games already? And I bet you he's had at least 6 or 7 different lineups since the season started. Maybe he needs to get like a consistent lineup. He hasn't found that yet. Probably should have found it somewhere in spring training and not rely on the early season to figure that out, albeit it was a shortened spring training. But you should have probably had a good idea on how that lineup was going to look. But like I said, like Moniak breaking his wrist, maybe it threw a monkey wrench in his plan. I don't know. But yeah, I think tonight they're going to hit the ball a little bit. And hopefully we can see a couple homers tonight, maybe some from somebody we haven't seen just yet, and kind of jumpstart the lineup a little bit, and they start to build on that. If they could do that and jumpstart, maybe they can have a successful road trip, because right now it isn't too great right now. And I think all season, Phil, we're going to be going back and forth. This Phillies team is great, and they won a couple games, and what are they doing? They've lost a couple. I think we're going to see that all year. And
are you reconsidering your 92 or 95 wins?
It was 92 wins, and if they keep playing like this, I did tweet out that the Phillies are a really terrible team, aren't they? And somebody said it was too soon, but I don't know, man.
A lot of people saying it's too soon to worry, but is it too soon to worry? Because I think you can read between the lines and see the problems here could, even if Mickey Moniak comes back, we don't have technically a true leadoff hitter. Zach Wheeler pitched terribly yesterday, but Zach Wheeler's better than that. Outside of that, We still know Zach Eflin's still not a good pitcher. Kyle Gibson, he is what he is. Ranger Suarez, we don't know. There's still so many question marks that is it too soon? And I said we were only going to win 88 games because I said we were going to be close and in contention. And then Dombrowski would go out and make a trade for a pitcher or whatever we need, get us over the hump, get us to that 88 plateau, maybe the wild card. But I don't think 2 weeks into the season or whatever it is, a week and a half into the season, is too soon to panic. Because, again, you can't lose the division in April, but you could definitely not win it. And right now we're putting ourselves in a hole really, really quickly.
Yeah, I think these were some games that they needed to put away and win. Mm-hmm. Play small ball, not wait for a big inning. Well, I mean, that's baseball, Dad. I mean, that's baseball today is strike out a home run. But I agree with him. Like you know, what was wrong with fundamental baseball? I mean, it worked for 100 years. You know, and all of a sudden you get these analytic guys that say, no, this is how you have to play baseball now. Mm-hmm. I let these guys play baseball. Mm-hmm. Let them swing away. Let them move runners along. Let them steal a couple bases. You know, build their confidence and you know, win a couple games. And I think he could be infectious. Right now, I don't think Joe Girardi is helping matters the way he's handling his lineup right now. I think he's done fine with handling the bullpen right now. They really haven't caused like an issue. The starting pitching is the starting pitching, and they're not coming through for him. And he's bungling the lineup right now. He's got to get a set lineup with players and an order.
I want to see this entire week. So we got the Rockies, and then we got the Brewers. You know, after that back here in Philly, I think it's the Brewers. After that, I would love to see 3 to 5 games in a row of the exact same lineup, no matter what. Mm-hmm. 1 through 9, the same exact guy. Bowman third, Stott at shortstop, Segura at second, Hoskins at first, the outfield as is, DH, whatever you want to do with that. But I want to see the same exact lineup for 3, 5, 7 games in a row. I don't even care if you got a lefty on the mound or a righty on the mound, who's pitching. I don't care. You know, they benched what's his name, Hoskins against Max Scherzer. You know, game 4 of the season. It wasn't. I know Rhys Hoskins has terrible numbers against Max Scherzer, but you know what? That early in the season, it wasn't time to give Rhys Hoskins a break yet.
Yeah, wasn't that after the game he went like 3 for 3 with like 3 doubles?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man.
Exactly. That's not what I want to see. I want to see the exact same lineup for 3, 4, 5 games in a row. Let them get into a rhythm, because when you're hitting a certain position, you know, there's a different mindset in the 2-hole when you're batting in the 3-hole. There's a different mindset when you're playing every day versus not every day. How you prepare, you know, in the afternoon, getting ready for the game. I want to see a set lineup every single day this week, and maybe that gets them into a rhythm offensively. And then we still have to worry about the pitching, but that's another topic. I mean, I know you saw the post Friday night. The Phillies are playing already, you know, 3 series into the season so badly on Friday night, 2 innings in the game. I handed the remote to my wife and said, "Here, what do you want to watch tonight?" And I let her pick something. It was literally like game 8 of the season. I'm already like, "Here you go. I'm ready." 2 innings was all I needed tonight. I can follow the box score and the game cast on my phone. I mean, that's how bad it is. It's not good.
It's going to be a problem if it translates over to the gate at the Citizens Bank Park, where
we already saw it. Game 1 they sold out. Game 1 of the season at home they sold out. It was like 44,000, 45,000. Game 2 they only had 22,000 fans at game 2. So it already game 1 to game 2 you saw that drop off. Yeah. If they play mediocre baseball at best, that stadium is going to be empty. This season. You said it a million times. When the Phillies are good, they pack that ballpark.
They do.
When they don't play well, that ballpark's a ghost town.
Which is a shame, because it's a beautiful park and baseball is a beautiful sport. Absolutely. But fans are kind of tired of underperforming squads and unlikable players and managers. Something has got to give. I think this team can be very likable, and they can also win. But again, Phil, to your point, I agree. Like, show me a set lineup every day for a week, and try to build on it instead of tinkering to the point where nothing is in stone. And listen, baseball players are creature of habit. They know that they're batting third and playing second every day. It's in their head that it gives them a level of comfort. When you're playing second today and then shortstop the next day and then the bench the next day and then you're leading off and then you're back, that shit doesn't fly. Like these guys. And listen, I'm going to say it again, and just going back to Scott Kingery, that's what destroyed his career. He never knew where he was playing. He never knew where he was batting. They were messing with his swing, and I thought he had a chance to be an above-average baseball player, and now he is a terrible, terrible baseball player. I don't want to see that happen to Bohm and Stott. That happened to Kingery, because if they keep doing that, you have an opportunity of spoiling their careers as well.
Yeah, I agree with you 110%. Just so you know, Friday night, the Twinder Swindler was more entertaining than the Phillies game.
I heard you talking about that.
Swindler.
It's like it's a documentary.
I thought it was like some chick flick movie she was putting on, but it's a documentary about some dude that swindles chicks out of money on Tinder. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to have to check it out.
The last thing she made me watch was the Inventing Anna or whatever it's called. It was another scam artist miniseries. That was actually pretty good too. Had the chick from the Ozarks in it. So
I think my wife has watched that. I think she's watched every Netflix series that's out there. Yeah. But the Netflix Tinder sucks. Swindler.
Yeah, the Netflix sucks. But the one thing Netflix does, and I'm not trying to give them any free promotion on the air. I don't think they need it. They just raised our rates again. I don't know. I'm almost at the point of canceling Netflix because of their price is getting so high. But they do documentaries really, really well. Yes, I've never watched a documentary on Netflix that wasn't well produced and well put together. So yeah.
They had a UFO one that was pretty good. They had the one about the pizza bomber in Pittsburgh that was pretty good.
Oh, kind of creeped me out as a pizza guy, for a little bit. Talk to my drivers about not going down some dark alleyway to deliver a pizza.
That's right.
Never know what's going to happen.
They got Stranger Things is coming back in May, which I don't know if you're a Stranger Things guy or not.
Kind of, the fact that COVID kind of pushed so many shows, like I kind of forgot about Stranger Things. Like I kind of don't even remember if I care or not. I'll watch it, but I'm only keeping Netflix till the second half of Ozarks come out. Then I'll have to make a tough decision whether I'm keeping it or not.
I haven't seen any of that, but I probably should.
Yeah, I want to take a
Everybody
vacation.
talks about it.
It's a great show. Great acting and all. It's slow. I like slow shows that take time to develop characters and develop, the storylines and stuff. So I'm hoping for a good ultimate payoff in that show. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up right there. Phillies win tonight, Mark?
Yeah, I'm going to say they win 5-3, and with 2 home runs from the lineup tonight.
So you got a 5-3 win for the Phillies. You got a close Sixers win. I got a Sixers blowout. And unfortunately, I see a Phillies loss tonight. Sorry.
Oof.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I even watch anything. I mean, the Sixers game, the end of the Sixers game will lead into the end of the Phillies game. Maybe I'll catch a few minutes of it. Jason will be on tomorrow morning. So we'll have Jason talking with me about Sixers and Phillies tomorrow morning. But everybody have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everybody that's been jumping in the comments there. To your dad, Mr. Edward Moscatelli. I'm going to have to get Ed. Do I call him Ed or Eddie or Edward?
Big Ed, he prefers.
Big Ed. I have to get Big Ed to sub in for Mark one day because I got to ask him some stories of little Mark growing up and what kind of a pain in the a-hole, Mark was growing up. So we're going to have to schedule a time to have Big Ed on the show here. So
please no.
No, we're going to work on this. Now that you said no, we're definitely going to work on it. But thanks to everybody that tuned in today. Armchair Commentary, Philly, Joe. We had a bunch of different people here. Where's the other name on my list of names here? Off the Clock Sports, all the different accounts that checked in today. Thank you very much. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, at Beard of Knowledge for me, at Mark with a C Moscatelli for my man here. We're back tomorrow morning, hopefully recapping wins from both our Philly teams. If not, actually, I think do the Flyers play tonight too, or they play tomorrow night?
They're still playing.
They're still playing.
They lost to the Sabres the other night, and that college kid that they just brought up blasted them in their locker room chemistry. So if the Flyers are, I don't know what to say about them. It's
Yeah,
just
we got nothing to say on that. Anyway, your dad's already checking it. He definitely wants to come on. I can't wait for the Big Ed show here. We're gonna even title it's gonna be a special show, the Big Ed show.
Oh my God! Please no.
Anyway, everybody have a great day, great Monday. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow right here on Trending in the AM, DSM Media. Yo, we're back to saying 6s and 5. I think 6s and 5.
4.